I mean, David was one of those guys that would light up the tunnel when you come walking out. He would say things. I can say, "Hey, my bitches, how we doing?" You know what I mean? And we
You
would go from
can.
there. And that was David. He just came to play, and you know what? We loved him. I mean, I don't know what would have happened with our baseball team without that guy in that dugout at that time. Because when he came walking in, I mean, he really got it done as far as running the ballpark and running the clubhouse. But we loved him, and you know what? It was sad to let him go. I mean, it's all money about the Twins and stuff like that. But we ended up letting him go, and he went on to just kill it somewhere else, which was heartbreaking for all of us because we knew how much he meant for our baseball team. But you know what? That's baseball, and you know what? Like class act. I love that guy.
What happened? What did people say once you saw what he was doing with a different organization?
Well, I mean, you try to just you wish him good luck. I mean, as always I do with every player, whether they get in the contract and leave the whole package. I'm not mad at them or anything like that. I'm happy for them. It's all about getting the best job, the best contract, and everything. And those guys all did that. They went out and got good contracts. David eventually did, and made a ton of money in it, and good for him.
Now, was there somebody else that you were the one that was like fighting for to keep him? Was there somebody else where you're like, oh, I fought for this guy, or was there somebody I fought for and shoot, like I missed it? Like, what were other guys that you fought?
Well, there was, we had a bunch of those guys that we started out with my first year as a manager, and we had a group. Those guys all grew up together, from Doug Mankiewicz to AJ, the whole package, Louis Rivas, Christian Guzman, Koski at third base. We had a group. Torrey Hunter was in center. I mean, you think about all that team, and they all moved on. And I was happy for them. I'm always happy for these guys to get their contracts and everything, but once that starts, where your ball club's going to end up being. We're going to be in a little bit of a rebuild, and we had to do that in Minnesota. We had some restraints, money wise, and that kind of always took you back. But our players kept playing, and we just had to keep moving forward.
Not saying you regret managing in Minnesota, but did you ever envision like being in a big market? Like, wow, what would it be like to be able to keep Corey Koski, to be able to keep Torrey Hunter, to be able to keep all these guys for their entire career?
Well, that's part of it, being in a smaller market baseball team. But I will tell you this: I love Minnesota. My family, my wife actually went to high school up there. And you know what? So we had a wonderful time in Minnesota with the team. We won a lot of baseball games. We had a lot of great players, and the good thing, I guess, being a manager is finally seeing players are actually wanted by other teams, and we end up making trades, or they become a free agent and go make a ton of money and finish off a great career. That you root for those things as a manager, and I did, and I hated seeing them come back and kill us. But you know what? That's part of the game. And as a manager, you did your job. You got them in the ball games, and they did their job. So you can't feel bad about it. You just have to keep moving.